Good afternoon, and welcome to this Eye on Youth special report. I'm some guy reporting. We're here in Anywhere, Ontario, where a news-breaking story is unfolding at this very moment. Tensions rise, anxiety increases, rejection and fear are commonplace. Yes, I'm talking about youth and the employment-seeking process. Once again, here in Anywhere, Ontario, a youth waits to find out if he got the job. While we wait for our friendly neighborhood youth, Mr. Joseph Schmo, let's go to our panel of experts and see what they have to say about this common trend among today's youth, job hunting.
I guess the most frustrating thing about finding a good job is that there's lots of places that will hire you, but what they want you to do has nothing to do with the skills that you've spent 4 years learning or whatever the case may be. So, they'll hire you to flip burgers, but they won't hire you to, whatever you studied. Yeah, I guess it's wasted skills all the time. Even in really great projects that are meant to develop skills, every once in a while they assume that at the beginning of the project you have none, so you're never building on them, you're just starting from scratch again.
It's really hard for people when they come to Canada. It's really hard for them to find a job because their experience and everything, it's incredible, like not having anything coming here and to find a job. I tried everywhere. I tried, during the summer there is a lot of programs that run, and I tried to get into some of those so that I could get some experience, so I can actually get a decent job. But it's fairly hard to get a full-time job or something that you can go on and have it for the future.
Being a youth, people, this is maybe a generalization, but people don't want to hire you full-time because you're young and you have various options open to you as a young person, and so full-time work is very hard to get a hold of because they're looking for someone with a more stable base. And I was frustrated because there's a lot of things that I would like to have been doing, but because my experience, because I am young, I don't have a lot of built up experience. I have summer jobs and I have odd jobs, and that's all that my resume consisted of. And so when I went to apply for a full-time position, they looked at my resume and said, well, you don't really have a lot of full-time experience and you don't have a lot of experience in this field. But how do you get experience if you're not hired somewhere in that field? That's a big thing that I have a problem with, is that there are a lot of opportunities for young people if they have a good base to work from. But unless I get hired somewhere, I'm never going to get that experience. And it's sort of like a downward sort of spiral, and I don't really know how to fix it.
Who's running the show? What do they want?
For myself, what I find the most difficult thing is to find people, young people, who have the proper attitude. Skills can be taught, attitude can't. That's the biggest thing I find, is finding young people who have the attitude, want to come into work, they want to do a job while they're here, while they're getting paid, realize that while they're here, they're on my time, not their own. But as far as skills are concerned, as far as experience is concerned, not a problem. I have found for myself that the young people I've hired, the best young people I've hired have been people with no experience at all. I bring them in, I train them, as long as the attitude is there, that's all I really need.
The biggest thing is when they just come and just throw the resume at you. They go right in the garbage. So those we don't even bother interviewing, we them out right away. You can usually tell already if they're really looking for a job or not. That last guy I hired was the one guy that came back for the follow-up, that came back to check.
As far as experience, that's always good too, but it's not necessary. As long as, like you said, if we usually mark on a resume whether or not the person was personable when they came in and made themselves known to us, and actually we know that they can talk to people when they don't know them. So that's very important.
The presentation of your resume is extremely important. You want to have something that looks very professional, not something that you know, just whizzed off as fast as possible. Never do we want to see handwriting on a resume. It just shows that a person is not willing to take the time to make their resume as presentable as possible. I think a person should dress. They don't have to come into it with a suit or anything, but just at least either a sweater, something nice. Just even though we are a record store and when you work here you can dress as casual as you want, you still want to make yourself look professional for the first impression.
What really turns me out is when somebody has that, what I would classify as the classic bad attitude. In other words, they have a certain arrogance about them that somehow they're doing me a favor actually by coming in and I'm going to give them employment. I like to see someone who is prepared to say, and I can read this off them in a short interview, someone who would say to me, look, I'm prepared, I'm a motivated person, I'm an up person, and I'm prepared to listen to whatever it is that you want me to learn, and I will implement that in your business for you.
Education is very, very important, obviously, because normally the more you know, the better it is for a potential employer. But I have to go back again to behavior being very, very important. If you give yourself off as a confident young person who is willing to do whatever it takes, great. Also be careful, people like myself, what I like to do is actually put some people on the spot. You want to become a host? Fine, that's great. Next person that walks in, I want you to greet them. I want to see person's sincerity. Just make sure again that you take a lot of time to prepare yourself. Don't just grab a piece of paper and hand it in, because if you do, guess what? I'll probably know that's all you did is just wrote it down on a piece of paper. Okay? Thank you very much.
I have to interrupt here a moment. It appears that just moments ago, Mr. Schmo received a telephone call. The phone rang, he jumped a table and drop rolled to the telephone. Apparently he was unhurt and still able to use his prepared professional voice to take the call. It was the wrong number, but we now know he is prepared for when the time comes to receive that call. How did this young man find himself in such an uncomfortable and anxiety-provoking position? Let's take a closer look.
I need a job.
He remembers reading about a local agency that offers help to anyone looking for employment. Since he had no idea what to do, he thought that a place like that would be a good place to start. At the employment center, they helped him see the bigger picture of the job search process and how it takes a lot of work and self-exploration to be successful. They helped him identify his skills and interests.
You can get help with looking at yourself and determining what your skills and interests are by asking your friends and family what they think you're good at. Trying to think of fun things that you like to do. And you can also get support from going to your local youth employment center. A counselor there could definitely help you to assess your skills and interests.
They showed him how to write a cover letter and a resume.
Your resume and cover letter should be completed in a very careful manner. It's going to be the most important step in your job search. It's the first connection that you're going to make with prospective employers, and you should try and present yourself in a powerful manner. This could mean the difference of whether or not you're going to get an interview.
And they talked about networking and the hidden job market.
Statistics show that under 20% of all jobs ever get advertised. The other 80% of the jobs in our community make up what we call the hidden job market. When you want to access the hidden job market, the most important thing you should be doing is networking. Networking means starting off with your family and friends, getting the word out, letting people know that you're seeking employment and what kind of work you're looking for.
He also took some classes about becoming self-employed.